All right, let's dive into something that affects a huge chunk of our lives, work. But what do you do when your health, whether it's mental or physical, gets in the way of your job? It's a super stressful situation for everyone. So today, we're going to unpack a modern playbook for how to handle it. And that really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? If you're the employee, you're probably worried about your job, about getting better, but just a whole lot of anxiety. And if you're the employer, you're trying to figure out how to be supportive while also, keeping the lights on. It's a really delicate dance. This challenge is something that comes up all the time, but the old ways of dealing with it, well, they just don't cut it anymore. We really need a new way of thinking about this, one that goes way beyond just looking at a diagnosis and starts to see the whole person. This right here is the big shift. For the longest time, the focus was purely medical, right? What's the condition? But that's just one tiny piece of a much, much bigger puzzle. A person's ability to actually function and do well at work depends on so much more than just a label on a medical file. Okay, so how do we actually make that shift? Well, it starts with adopting a really powerful framework that honestly changes the whole game. It's called the biopsychosocial model, and it's all about putting the individual right at the center of the picture. The most important thing to get here is that it's centered on the individual. It's not just about the illness floating in a vacuum, it's about the real person who's going through it, in their own unique world. It looks at their biology, their psychology, and their social situation. This is a big deal. Even the World Health Organization uses this framework. So let's break this down into its 3 pillars. You've got bio, that's the actual health condition itself. Then there's psycho, which is everything going on in our heads, our beliefs, our feelings, how we cope with things. And finally, social. That's our environment, work, home, all our relationships. The key thing is these 3 are always interacting, always affecting each other and our ability to get through the day. All right, so that model is the why, the big idea. Now let's get practical. Let's talk about the how. What are the actual tools a truly proactive workplace can use? And this is a huge change in approach. Instead of just waiting for a problem to pop up and then reacting to it, the whole goal is to build a supportive place from the get-go, an environment where it's just easier for everyone to do well no matter what's going on with their health. A core part of this is making what are called reasonable adjustments. But what does reasonable even mean, right? Well, essentially, it's any tweak or change that helps an employee do their job safely, as long as it doesn't create an unjustifiable hardship for the company, like a crazy high cost or something that messes up the whole business. And here are some great real-world examples of what we're talking about. It could be something simple like more flexible hours or shifting a couple of tough tasks to someone else. Or it could be about getting someone the right tools for the job, like special software or even just an adjustable desk. The goal is always the same: make it possible for them to do their job well. Another really important tool is the pre-placement health assessment. Now, the key thing here, and this is super important, is that this happens after you get the job offer. It's not about trying to screen people out. It's the opposite. It's about figuring out, hey, what can we do to set you up for success right from day one? It's all confidential and meant to be supportive. Okay, let's shift gears and tackle a really common and often tricky situation: helping an employee come back to work after they've been out sick for a while. Turns out, there's a really clear and effective playbook for this. First things first, there's a key number to keep in mind: 4 weeks. Once someone has been away from work for 4 weeks, it's officially considered a long-term sickness absence. And that's the trigger point. That's when a more structured plan becomes absolutely critical. But before we even get into the step-by-step tactics, the guidance from NICE makes one thing crystal clear: culture is everything. You have to have a caring, supportive culture as your foundation. Without it, all the best policies in the world are just, well, they're just words on paper. So what's rule number 1 in the playbook? It's simple. Keep in touch. Make contact early, definitely within those first 4 weeks. And this isn't about pressure or checking up on them. It's about showing support, keeping that connection alive, and just letting them know, hey, you're still part of the team and we haven't forgotten about you. Next up, rule number 2, make a plan. And this isn't something a manager just comes up with on their own. It's a team effort. The employer and the employee sit down together and create a written plan. This document is so important because it gets everyone on the same page and acts like a clear roadmap for a successful return. And the final rule, rule number 3, is to remember this isn't a set it and forget it kind of deal. Coming back to work is a process. You've got to monitor and support them along the way.
That means checking in regularly to see if the plan is actually working. Do things need to be tweaked? It's all about being flexible and keeping the conversation going.
So when you put all these pieces together, the whole person perspective, the proactive tools, and this supportive playbook, what you end up creating is just a fundamentally better, healthier way to work. And that's something that benefits everybody. So why does this matter so much for employees? Well, the payoff is huge. It means they can do their job safely and effectively. It means they get a fair shot at the same career opportunities as everyone else. But honestly, maybe the biggest thing? It makes people feel valued and supported as human beings, not just as cogs in a machine. And here's the kicker. This is a total win-win scenario. It's not just good for the employee. When people's well-being is high, guess what? Productivity goes up too. When people feel supported, the entire workplace culture gets more positive. A more humane workplace is just a more effective workplace, period. So I'll leave you with a question to chew on. Think about your own workplace. Is it built to support people with all their complexities and everything that comes with being human? Or is it just designed to fill roles on an org chart? Because how you answer that, well, that makes all the difference in the world.